practical relevance. I welcome our guest speaker from the Institute of Medical Science, Trivandrum. An old colleague of mine, Dr. Tony Thomas, an interventional cardiologist at St. Mary's Hospital. Initiate discussion so as to make the CME more interactive. Here, in spite of their busy schedule, to gain knowledge. And I am sure, if that is the case, all will like to keep learning, at least to keep ourselves young. For the serenity of Kodupura and for the CME. I wish you all an enlightening and
a few
to invite me to inaugurate the session. The volume and air-cooled atmosphere on the vibe of the mattering crowd of Kodupura. I am sure. I hope you all listen. There was a time my professor used to say, the cardiac failure management is not that difficult. After all, oxygen, diuretic, and toxin. All these only four modalities. Present-day cardiologists will be surprised. ഒരുപാട് പേരുടെ പിരിയങ്ങൾ കൊമ്പായിരിക്കും ഞാനിങ്ങനെ വളരെ എളുപ്പമാണ് പറഞ്ഞാൽ. പക്ഷെ അന്ന് അതായിരുന്നു വളരെ എളുപ്പമായിരുന്നു. കാരണം ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് മരുന്നൊന്നുമില്ല. ഡിജോക്സിൻ ഡയറിക്ക് പേര് മരുന്നായിട്ടുള്ളൂ. And good number of investigations are there for the physicians and the pediatricians easily refer the patient to a cardiologist. We have got altogether 5 cardiologists in Kodupura itself. So we always with a cardiologist. Let them have it, not we people. But your clinical practice and attending the hospitals, attending various conferences to update yourself, going around India to update yourself, it's time consuming. I am extremely thankful to the physicians and the cardiologists, the physicians and the general practice make a vessel update. With these few words, I could not inaugural session earlier after a talk. Now I declare it open.
We have a galaxy of eminent speakers here today to enlighten us. Like our opening batsman, expect a cracking start with his first annual CME by none other than Dr. K. Nacharjan, International Arena. Currently, he is a professor and head of the department of adult fitness field who jogs 10 to 15 kilometers a day. He's a great fan of cricket and closely follows tennis. Is that he's also a storyteller and scriptwriter. Some of the stories of money to the dice. I will request Dr. E.B. George.
It is customary to introduce the topic first. So it's a common clinical syndrome representing the end stage of different cardiac modalities. Respond to the treatment which we give. When there is a therapeutic failure because we can't give our drugs, new modalities of treatment are to be find out. And here, Dr. Narayan is going to talk about non-blood treatment or managing the cardiac problem, chronic cardiac problem, chronic heart failure beyond the rest. Along with me, the chairman is Dr. Jill Shaw. He is a professor of medicine and head of the department of Cooperative College, Ernakulam. I will request Dr. Narayan to proceed.
And in certain subsets of patients, one has to resort to treatment beyond drugs, which is otherwise called the non-pharmacological treatment. And in the next 25 minutes, we will have a case-based approach rather than a mere theoretical discussion as to how to manage patients with heart failure. in selected situations beyond medications. There has been significant progress in the medical treatment of heart failure, and the current recommendations give a very strong value for the drugs like beta blockers, angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors, ARBs, diuretics, and aldosterone antagonists. These are all some of the mainstay of medications in the treatment of heart failure. Medical treatment for heart failure makes a difference if the right medication is given for the right indication in the right dosage. For example, take a look at this prescription for a patient with heart failure. Digoxin, very low dose diuretics, L-carnitine, triglyceride, riboflavin, antioxidants, multivitamins. We often see prescriptions like this in patients with heart failure. No beta blockers, no angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitor, no ARB, no aldosterone antagonist, no dietary advice, no exercise prescription. This is a costly, suboptimal prescription, and one cannot call this an optimal pharmacological therapy. And with this treatment, a patient with severe degrees of heart failure is very unlikely to respond. Optimal pharmacological treatment with additional emphasis on lifestyle modifications, diet, exercise, and proper routine medical follow-up goes a long way in the management of patients with heart failure. Pharmacological treatment of heart failure is the mainstay and often the initial treatment in most cases of heart failure. However, there are situations in which non-pharmacological treatment options have been clearly shown to improve quality of life, reduce hospitalizations, improve survival. So non-pharmacological treatment definitely has a role to play in certain patients with heart failure in which drugs alone cannot do the trick. To help understand the role of treatment options beyond medications in patients with heart failure, let us go through the following case examples. Class 2 to class 3 effortless no whole myocardial infarction 32%. So here is a patient with severe LV dysfunction, history of myocardial infarction, historically as per electrocardiogram. Of course, one has to optimally treat the diabetes and hypertension, beta blockers, diuretics. As the next step, one should not just record the medical management when somebody has severe degrees of left mitral if there is a modality of treatment which will improve the left ventricular function. LV dysfunction and effort intolerance has to be ruled out. See, and severe LV dysfunction. That is the scenario in this particular case. In view of anti-infarctive myocardium, this patient was rightly advised a coronary artery bypass graft improved from a baseline of 32 to 60%. So this is a myocardium, severe LV dysfunction, who are treated only by medical treatment, where the 1 year mortality is at about 5 years is about 40 to 90%. So a cause of LV dysfunction definitely makes a huge difference in terms of revascularization makes a huge difference to the death rate. You can see on the left side, 3% with viable LV dysfunction is revascularized as against 16% mortality. So, in severe LV dysfunction, every effort should be made to identification either by bypass surgery or percutaneous intervention as the case of benefits. Now we move on to the next case example. A 35-year-old left hemiparesis 2 days prior to admission to our center. Echo which was done to function. He was actually advised for a cardiac transplantation because of very severe degrees of LV dysfunction in view of the stroke. This was the ECG and initial presentation. You can see about 175 per minute, and you can see varying RR interval. You can see clearly atrial fibrillation, which is a chaotic atrial. The echocardiography reveals severe LV dysfunction with an ejection fraction of about 25%. There was mild thrombus.